SUVs are trendsetters, and that's true even in the luxury space. We've seen updates from Audi and BMW, so it was only time when Mercedes-Benz jumped in with its competitor, the GLC. The facelift now takes on the Q5 and even the new gen BMW X3.
And there's no doubt that the GLC has been able to cement its position in the segment for all these years. Remember, it first came to India in 2016. But the facelift, when Mercedes thought of bringing out the facelift, it had to be a comprehensive update and obviously up to date as well. So the GLC does get all of that. You see a brand new front grille, you see new bumpers, you see new rear bumpers as well, and of course new headlamps. The design has changed too. There are LED DRLs that give it a very signature look and actually remind us of the GLB that sits between this and the GLA. So a lot of changes have been made to the car, but it still doesn't look aggressive or in your face, and that's because it's all about understated elegance when it comes to the GLC.
The side remains identical to the predecessor, and there are 19-inch light alloy wheels in gloss black and high sheen finish, which really look good. The aluminium look running boards on the side are mounted at the height of the side skirts, and this makes ingress and egress an easy process. There's chrome on the side too, and that adds the premium touch. All of this enhances the look of the GLC, but it's not exactly a head turner.
So a lot might not have changed outside, but there are some big differences on the inside. But what remains unchanged is this flowing center console. It still is the same as the one on the predecessor. But the first thing to grab your attention is not that, but this 10.25 touchscreen infotainment system. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto on offer. But the biggest change there is that now the GLC gets an embedded SIM. It is powered by Vodafone, but 4G connectivity in your car available now. This is the first Mercedes-Benz car in India to get one. So yes, you can actually download the Mercedes Me app, and through it, a lot of that now can happen at the touch of a button. So yes, a lot has changed, and now it's all about connectivity with that acclaimed MBUX system.
The car that we got came with beige upholstery, and this really gives you a sense of space inside the car. Of course, it's trendy and therefore features like ambient lighting, which has 64 color combinations to offer, and wireless phone charging too are part of the package. But would you really be spending much time up front?
Now the GLC is mostly a chauffeur-driven car, so it always had decent amount of space at the rear. So it has good knee room. You can see the sculpted front seats, and it has decent headroom too for a person as tall as me. What is interesting is that it gets two C-type charging stations, as also a 12-volt charging point. For the C-type now you'll need adapters, so yes, you'll have to buy them, but 3 charging points is pretty good at the rear. There are the rear AC vents that you get. The rest of the entire theme remains the same, and then there is this partition that you get. This is basically what you get here. Nothing inside here as far as the entertainment is concerned. You cannot do anything or change anything as far as the entertainment is concerned. But what you get now are these sun blinds, which are operated manually, so you can keep the sun out whenever you're going out. That's a very, very valuable addition.
There was, of course, one concern that we had with the GLC last time around, and that was the boot space on offer. You had to choose between carrying a spare tire or having space for your bags. Mercedes-Benz doesn't give you that choice anymore. The company has worked on this complaint and now offers 930 liters of boot space, which is extendable to 1558 liters with the second row down. The cabin of the new GLC then is mighty impressive. But it doesn't stop there. The virtual assistant of the MBUX system is extremely helpful, as we found out.
Well, the assistant can understand 32 languages. Sadly, Hindi is not one of them. But then how does it work? Well, here's a demonstration of exactly that. We start by saying, "Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
I'm hungry."
Please select an entry.
Well, and basically it shows me a list of all the restaurants they are. So if you're out on the highway and you want some entertainment, well, Mercedes takes care of that too. So here we go. "Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
tell me a joke."
Sorry, my engineers were Germans.
Okay, on a more serious note, I mean, if you want to search for even petrol pumps, well, that's what it does too. "Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
can you search for the nearest petrol pumps?"
Please select an entry.
There you go. It shows up everything there is to. And let's check one more thing that it can probably do. "Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
do a barrel roll."
I think you're confusing me with someone else.
Yeah, I think I am. So that's basically how it works. It's pretty entertaining, isn't it?
As for the engine, Mercedes-Benz has done away with the 2.1 litre diesel, which was introduced in the GLC back in 2016. And there's a new one under the hood.
Now, we have been talking about big changes being made to the GLC. The biggest one, of course, is the engine. It's a 2-litre engine, downgrade from the 2.2 that was on offer earlier. 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo engine on offer, 191 brake horsepower at your disposal. And it just all comes together. It's very well put together as a car because every time you put your foot down, there is enough and more power to just thrust you ahead. Now, the 400 Newton meters of torque comes in at around 1600 RPM, and it just feeds you enough power continuously thanks to that 9-speed G-tronic gearbox. Everything just comes together every single time you are there. Now, the suspension, of course, is the major talking point because it isn't adaptive suspension. It's the same as before, just a little firmer than before. It takes the undulations on the road with ease, but yes, there is a kickback that you get in deeper potholes or deeper surfaces if you try to go in one of them. But as an overall package, the BS6 engine, the kind of NVH levels that this one has, well, it's all just come together pretty well in this facelift version.
It's smooth sailing, frankly. The engine is silent and nothing gets into the cabin, which again is a big improvement over the previous car. There's of course the petrol option available as well, but we didn't get to drive it. Soon maybe. Given what all it has to offer, the GLC diesel starts at 57,75,000 rupees, while the petrol is priced at 52,75,000 rupees. Comparing the diesel model prices to its competitors, the Q5 and X3, the GLC is more expensive. It is about 7 lakh rupees more expensive than the Q5, depending on the variant, and 1 lakh more expensive than the X3, again depending on the model you choose. Sure, it has a few rough edges, but clearly Mercedes-Benz has been able to identify the big problem areas, work on it, and make it better. The GLC then is a big leap from what it was, and therefore now a true contender in the segment.